Hey guys, Carl here, Cultivate with Carl. It's time for a seedling update. And man, have things been progressing so fast, it isn't even funny. First of all, for those of you who know me, which is pretty much everybody that watches my channel, um, you know that I work night shift schedule and in a wackadoo kind of, on days, off days rotation. So I had actually videotaped a update to this in between now and the previous video that I published. And I had that video all ready to launch today, which is Monday. So this is your Monday update. I shot that video Thursday, and so many things have changed that I have to shoot a new video today. So we're going to go through the plants and see what has really started to take hold, because we have had some major progress in some areas where we weren't having progress at all. And we're really starting to work against ourselves on some of these plants that are in the ground that really need to be upsized to a bigger cup with some medium in them, because the growing medium, the seed medium, doesn't have any nutrients in it. And I have been supplementing the nutrients with some fish emulsion, but the soil now is not supporting the plants. So I've been having to add some of this amendments, and it's time now to move them into some regular potting stuff. Some of the plants we store bought, I'm going to end up bringing them outside tonight, and they're already hardened off. So they're going to sit outside. I think we're due for a freeze next week. So I'm not going to put them in the ground. I'll be able to bring them back in. And so what you're going to see here today is a combination of kind of what we've got going on. We've got some things happening. I've still got my manure test going on here. We're going to look at that. And we've got some other things happening with our little plants that we're going to check out. All right, so let me get you over here. But let me say this first. This has been exciting. It has been... like I said, the purpose of this channel is I'm a beginner gardener. Hopefully some of you are too, because we all need a hobby, right? And so I'm learning as we go along, and it's exciting to watch these plants. Like at first they had their two little leaves out, which are the leaves that come folded up in the seed. And I'm like, oh crap, we're never going to make any progress. Well, then one night I shut the lights off. When I came back and turned the lights back on, poof, they had extra leaves on them. And so I have to get them into this cycle, a 15-hour cycle of light versus dark, so that they can do their thing. And I think we're well on the road. I've got several plants in solo cups, which is their final state. They're going to be in solo cups before they go into the ground. That's what we're going to be doing tonight. We're going to be replanting a lot of these seedling starts into solo cups. And then we're going to get them into some big plastic trays that I can move outdoors a little bit at a time. So what we'll do is we'll take them outside. It's called hardening off. We'll take them out there, let them get a little dose of sunlight, because you can't take lights from under grow lights and then put them under direct sunlight, or else they'll get sun scalded and burnt, and they don't adjust well. So you got to kind of ease them out there. This is I think, crap, I don't even know what day it is. I work night shift, so I have no idea what day it is. It's about the third week of February. And I look to start putting these plants out, some of them as early as the 1st of March. And that's going to be my cucumbers, my squash, and the basils. The tomatoes and stuff will stay in the solo cups until probably this first or second week in March, till we're sure we're not going to get another frost. And the same goes with the jalapenos and the other stuff. And that's to ensure that we don't get killed off by a late frost. Other than that, we're good to go. The reason why we're going to put the cucumbers and squash out is we're trying to beat the vermin that come in June that will kill the plants. I think I've talked about that before. So, without further ado, let's take a sweep through the trays, and then I'll show you what we got going on. So let me pause. If you see here, we've got our Everglades tomatoes. And if you remember, we only had a couple of starts, but here's two good ones that have multiple seeds on. And then there's some back here behind the Edox plant. So that's 1, 2, 3 plants that I will be able to save. Plus there's 2 more in the back for a total of 5. If I can get those in the solo cups, uh, then we'll be good to go. These Edox tomatoes, I've planted way too many of them. So we're going to end up getting the strongest out of the Edox, and then we're going to end up sacrificing the rest to the compost pile. These are cherry tomatoes, cherry tomatoes. These are cherry tomatoes. These are I'm sitting here stumbling on my words because I'm trying to remember what's in each tray. These for sure are the yellow sun golds, but I've got 1, 2, 3, and then a couple bunch popped up there really good. So cherry tomato, cherry tomato, cherry tomato, cherry tomato. I'm only going to want 2 or 3 of these plants. I'm not going to want a whole bunch because cherry tomatoes they're so dang prolific. These are aroma. So I have aromas here. I have aromas in the cup over there. That's going to be exciting. These are my Hausenators that finally made an appearance. Then these were a different type of tomato, a determinate slicing kind of tomato. I don't recall their name exactly, but that's okay. This is a jalapeno pepper right here, and I've got 1 to germinate. And then here I've got 2 squash plants to germinate. This one's like a champ. So, but if you can see the darker earth right here, what I did was I added in some of the manure from the cup over there, and then they grew. Then these right here are all basil that I transplanted from the basil cup. There was a cup that I was testing out the soil, and so all these basils are great because I'm going to interplant them among the garden everywhere for bug prevention. So only a few of these will I get, basil off of, but what'll happen is I'm going to use them to chase away aphids. So let's slide on down, cue the transition. Like, I have to split these up immediately. And there's my microphone. So these are the Kellogg's tomatoes. They're a slicer that they turn yellow. They're not a red tomato, but they're supposed to be really, really good. So what I'm going to do tonight is I'm going to put these into solo cups. I'm going to split up the healthy ones, and then the ones that aren't so healthy, I'm going to get rid of. And then I will have these Kellogg's tomatoes in their own solo cups, and that will be good to go. So that will be them. I have more basil here. This basil needs some water. This basil needs some water. Now, I have no idea what kind of tomato plants these are. Remember I said I had the terrible time with the marker? I had put the wood stakes in there and then wrote on them in pencil. Well, now I have these tomato plants and I have no clue as to what they are. So I believe them to be Romas, but I don't know that for sure. So we're just going to plant them in the ground and see what comes up. So these here are salad slicer cucumbers. They're doing great in these little cups. Because of these little cups, the soil stays moist. What I do is I put water in the container there, and then let's slide you down a little bit. I'll put water in the container, and then I put water in the plastic here. These containers soak up the water, and it keeps the soil moist. And these guys are doing great. Now these were, I believe, more of the Kellogg's, and I put these in manure as a test to make sure that the leaves weren't crinkling, that they wouldn't have problems with persistent herbicides. But right here we have some Romas in cups. Back here we have, again, I did this so wrong. I don't know what these are, man. So if I end up giving you tomato plants, just forgive me that I don't know what they are. We're getting into Clutterville over here with all of my equipment, so I'm going to pan you across. Back here, these are okra plants, and then over there are my Excelsior cucumbers. Now, let's continue, and then I'll show you how I'm going to remedy this situation. Right here are my store-bought tomatoes, and these store-bought tomatoes are getting ready to they're getting ready to go out into the yard, and they're going to live out there until the frost comes. So what I have, these are Better Boy. It's a hybrid tomato. It's an indeterminate, so this plant's going to get really huge. And these are the Bonnie Original, and these are also indeterminates. They're going to get really big. So for me, I'm probably going to only keep a couple of these. I'll keep 2 of these, give the rest away. Keep one of this one, give the rest away. So mixed with, let's switch you back. Hang on, we're going to switch you back to me. Okay, here I am back. So yeah, did I grow too much of stuff? I sure did. Why? Because I was trying new things out, and I'm okay with that. Like, I did not know that these little Jiffy Pots were as good as they were. And then now knowing this, I'll use these again. These came from my late uncle's garage. When we cleaned out his garage, I took these out because he had tomatoes and stuff. Well, thank you, Uncle Mister. There you go. I now have something that I learned that I can pass on to everybody else from my uncle. I've learned my lesson about not marking the plants. So tonight, this was on Amazon, 100 pieces for $6. And these will follow these guys out to the garden. So I will know that this is a squash plant. I'll put a little squash tag in the solo cup. It goes out to the garden. I'll then put this in the garden with it. And then if I have to go back with the marker as it weathers up, or what I may do, I may hit it with the Sharpie marker and then slap a little piece of packing tape over it, and that should keep it for a while. I have a few more things that I have to figure out what they are, but I think at this point, I'm going to try and reseed some stuff. Like this tray right here was a total failure. I don't even know what happened, but there's stuff growing in here. I just don't know what it is. And so, heck, who knows? I'll plant a couple. Maybe it's one of those big feed me Seymour plants. I have no idea. So, what I'm going to do, I'm going to get all this stuff. I'm going to get these put in solo cups tonight. These are good. Those are good. And then once I have that done, I have these big plastic trays. I'll carry them inside and outside, but I'm going to pull my lights up so I can get the big trays under there with everything in solo cups, and we'll be good. I think it looks like things need to be watered again tonight, so I'm going to probably rotate some stuff out, get it watered in good, and then that will be that. But I'm going to clear this tray out, because if it hasn't germinated by now, it's probably not going to germinate. That will leave this tray and some other stuff. So, Monday update. There you go. This break, I'm off Monday, Tuesday. So during this break, what I have to do tonight is I get these replanted. Tomorrow during the daylight, I have to go out and I have to start lining out my irrigation system. I've got the wood chips to fill the beds. And once I lay out the irrigation system, I'm going to put the irrigation systems in, put the wood chips on top of that. And then those beds are going to sit until maybe 2-3 weeks from now when I start planting stuff in the gardens. I'm going to be direct sowing tomorrow some carrot seeds and possibly some more lettuce. I have these right here, and I can direct sow these into the ground. And it is a tender sweet carrot and a Danvers carrot. And then this is Paris Island romaine lettuce. So Marine Corps Maine lettuce. But let me tell you what, there's a lot of seeds in there. I'm not going to use all of these. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do the square foot gardening method. I'll put, I think it's 16 of these in a square foot each. And then I'll put a certain number of these in that last square foot. Then we'll see what happens. So I think that's it. I'm pumped. My thumb's turning green. So that's it for this Monday update. Between now and next Monday, I'll probably shoot you some progress pics because this weekend coming up is going to be a big weekend for me to get out there and get things done. So stand by on the Instagram. You will probably see some updates on Instagram, which will carry over to Facebook. And then if I get enough to put together to make a video for YouTube, that's what I'll do. But if you're one of my friends, if you've stayed in this video this long, please go over to YouTube and click like and subscribe and leave a comment. Like, hey, good job, Carl, or Carl, your hat looks goofy. Whatever the case may be, this is my casual off duty attire. But that helps with the YouTube algorithm that gets people who don't know me to be able to see the video. Maybe there's some other first time gardeners out there who want to see someone at their same level, because YouTube is full of professional gardeners who get great results. They're like, bling, and it's a big old plant with fruit all over it. I'm not that guy, right? Not yet, anyway. So this is the day someone will be able to look back and go, man, I remember the days when you started out and didn't even put the names on all of your plants and you didn't know what you were growing. That's me. That's possible. But help me out. Give me a like, a subscribe, leave a comment, and there you go. And also, hey, if you want some plants and you're in the local area, let me know, because I'll be sorting these out and giving them out here before too long. So I for sure can't use all these. I don't have the garden space. Plus, I'm going to be incorporating some from the big box store, some peppers and things of that nature that I haven't grown here yet into the garden also. So that's it. So we're going to be signing off here from Cultivate with Carl. Let me see. Catchy phrase for today. Cultivate that like button and give me a big thumbs up. And we'll be seeing you on our next update.